Fantastic. And so thank you very much for being here today on week 4 of my Michigan Prescription for Health. We are excited to be with you with Nutrition by Meyer. And we are just excited to have so many of you back on. We're at 30 right now. And just a reminder to please put your name in the chat. Almost everyone is doing this already, so you guys know the drill. But I wanted to start off, and I'll finish with as well the information I received about vouchers and unique offer codes that these are going to be different distributions by region. So each region has a regional partner that works with the My Michigan program. And so different regions are sending them in different modalities in different ways. The one that I heard back from is Alpena. And so that particular regional partner, Karen, has sent out the unique offer codes via email. So hopefully if you've chose that and you're in the Alpena area, you've received those. She's sent out the farmers market vouchers and is working to get the Meyer in-person vouchers out in the mail as well. So that is how Alpena is doing it, but that's the only one I've heard from, even though I have reached out to all regions. And again, I'll walk through that at the end of the call too. And anybody is welcome to stay on to ask additional questions after the call today. So I just want to make sure I addressed it first, because I know I had a lot of questions about it. And so hopefully you'll be getting them in the next few days, particularly especially if you chose the unique offer codes, which sounds like will be sent out via email from your local administrator. So Patricia did ask, will you offer again? And yes, we are. We are planning to do another cohort, our second cohort in October. We'll be starting that one. So that's a great question, Patricia. But today we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, which is smart snacking, because who doesn't love a little snacky snack, and about hydration as well, since that is another important thing that, truth be told, I am not very good at myself. And so I know my coworkers sitting over there, they always have to remind me that, Beth, do you need to go fill up your water? And the answer is almost always yes, because I haven't done so in days. But I will get started here. You've seen this slide before. We're starting every week with it, but we are in week 4, healthy snacking and hydration. You've had the opportunity now to meet me twice, as well as our other 2 fabulous dietitians, Jody and Kelly. And so they'll be taking turns on the following weeks to present to you all as well. I did want to go over, just because you should be getting your produce incentives very shortly if you haven't gotten them already. And just a overview, brief primer. If you got the Meyer produce incentive that you bring into the store, it'll be a physical voucher. That is going to be for in-store only, so you can't use it digitally, and you can only use 1 voucher per transactions. So you are able to do many transactions in one shopping trip. You really just need to put that divider on the checkout thing. What's that called? Checkout. Oh my gosh, I'm having a moment. Where you put your groceries to get checked out. Uh, Conveyor. There we go. That's, maybe the word.
The scanner?
The scanner, the thingy, just put that little divider thing in. That's multiple transactions. There you go. So you can use all your vouchers in one trip, I should say. But if each of the vouchers are going to be for $10. So if you don't have $10 worth of produce, maybe you bought $8 worth of produce, you will lose that other $2. You are not going to be getting cash back for that $2 that you didn't use. So I really behoove you to really get a lot of produce so you can use up those vouchers. Secondly, if you chose the unique offer code, you will get a 12-character code, and you will put that into the Meyer M Perks app, the Meyer app within the coupon section. And so you will get that via email, I believe, and you need to put it in exactly how it looks. And that can be used in store or digitally. And you can use multiple offer codes in a single transaction. But you must do more than the incentive amount. So if you give a $10 unique offer code, you need to spend $10.01 to have that trigger at the register. And then a thing will pop up on the credit card reader where you would insert your credit card and say, would you like to use this coupon? And the answer is yes. Yes, you would. $10 is easy to spend in produce. I spend it lickety split, but those are the differences there. And I had a question about farmers market. What about farmers market? And those should be sent out via mail as well. And I do not know actually how those are processed or how you use them at the farmers market, but that's another follow-up question I can ask. But since we are not a farmers market and I'm not familiar with each of the local farmers markets, I don't know if there's different processes for each, but I can follow up on that as well. That one's for Sally. So let's get going. Was I on that, not on that slide that whole time when I was talking? And if so, I apologize, but all of these slides are in your modules. And then we will, oh, now I'm going too fast. We'll be talking about smart snacking. So something that's kind of interesting is our traditional 3 meal a day meal pattern has really eroded away. And now snacking has really taken a huge portion of the calories that we eat and how we kind of set up our day when it comes to meals and snacks. Actually, 20 to 22% of Americans' calories that they get in the day come from snacks. And so this is a big opportunity for us as individuals to get as much nutrition as possible for our snacks. And it's also a really big opportunity in the food industry to make snackable things easy, convenient, and a way for someone to reach their health goals via their snacks. But snacking can be really, really important because it can help to manage hunger. It can support balanced nutrition because it's a great opportunity to get that nutrition in. And people who have snacks, especially healthy snacks, tend to not overeat as much later in the day because oftentimes, if we go so long and we're starving because we haven't snacked because it's been so long between meals, we are going to overeat when it comes to those evening meals as well. And I see a lot of engagement in the chat about how families just like that's what they're doing. They're exclusively snacking and having these smaller meals versus more formal, larger meals. With that, about half of Americans. Ooh, I'm getting some feedback. Could everyone out there make sure they're muted? About half of Americans, thank you, report replacing traditional meals and snacks with smaller, report replacing traditional meals with snacks or smaller, just like smaller meals. And what is the difference here? And what can we do as snackers? You know, we're in kind of a snacking culture. What can we do to make these snacks intentional versus mindless? So intentional snacks are going to be purposeful. You packed a snack because you knew you were going to have a chunk of time that between meals that you probably didn't want to go that long without eating. They're going to serve a purpose with the nutrition of that snack. So maybe they're going to be high in fiber, or maybe they're going to be a good source of protein for you to keep you and kind of hold you over till that next meal. Intentional meal snacks are definitely planned. We do not plan to fail, we simply fail to plan. Well, it's always a good saying and very true. They are also balanced. So we want to make sure we are having at least 2 macronutrient groups. And if you remember, that's fat, protein, and carbohydrate. And we'll go into that a little bit deeper in a few moments. But you want to make sure you have at least 2 of those in your snack. And you want to be mindful of the portion size, and you want to be able to enjoy those without distractions. Now, I know that's a lot easier said than done because when we're snacking, we're often doing so because we can't sit down for a meal because we live very busy, hectic lives. I know how often I sit at my desk and have a snack. Usually it's popcorn mid-afternoon because I've, have eaten early and have gotten hungry and know that I won't be having dinner for a while. Whereas grazing kind of tends to be more mindless eating. So maybe if you're grazing throughout the day, you can't really think back to what you might have eaten during the day. One thing we do as dietitians is we often do a 24-hour food recall with our patients. And so if you are a grazer throughout the day and maybe mindlessly eating, it would be really quite difficult to figure out what you had eaten during that 24-hour food recall. Maybe it was a handful of M&Ms and a different thing here and there, and that can be a challenge. And it's also, your body may not register that as an eating occasion, which is really important psychologically for satisfaction and fullness. Mindless eating or that grazing is often unplanned. It's out of convenience versus maybe the hunger piece. It's triggered by the environment. So you have something right in front of you, or maybe emotion. That 3 o'clock snack when you're at work and you're just feeling real bored and want to get up and do something, that could be that from that emotion, from the boredom. Low awareness, so it's easy to lose track of what you are eating when you're mindlessly eating. I know for me, I get very upset when I'm eating a snack and I reach into the bag and I have not registered that last piece as the last bit in that bag, and I go in and it's empty. I get irrationally mad, not at, just at myself, or like, well, shoot, why is that done? Because I can't enjoy or savor that last bite. And then grazing is often a lot less satisfying too, because your hunger really isn't addressed as fully. So when is it really important to snack? It's important to snack when you have those physical signs of hunger. And one really nice tool that one can use is called a hunger scale. And you can see it here on the right side of the screen. And this is something, again, another tool we work with our clients with is trying to think about how you're feeling right now. And using that hunger scale, or it's like a spectrum of your hunger. Are you ravenous? That would be like an 8 or a 9. Are you or excuse me, a 1 or a 2? Sorry, I meant that different end. If you are so full, it's like Thanksgiving fullness, you got to unbutton your jeans type of situation. Maybe that's a 9 or a 10. And both of those we don't really want to get to, because both of those are going to elicit some less than healthy, probably, choices that will be made. So we want to start to eat when we think about our hunger scale, and we want to start when we're about a 4. So we're not overly hungry, but we are feeling some physical signs of hunger. So maybe some growling, and you can tell when you're feeling hungry. And we want to stop when we're about at a 7. So everybody's, it's subjective. Everybody's scale is going to be just a little bit different, but using that as a mental tool to try to not get too full, so you feel uncomfortable and icky, or too hungry where you tend to overeat later on. So some other reasons to snack, you know that you're going to have long periods between meals. And so that's going to be a great reason to snack, because if you have those long periods and then you do eat a meal, you might have the tendency to overeat at that meal. If you are a strenuous exerciser, it may be really important to have a snack before that, particularly a carbohydrate-rich snack, because that's going to give you that energy that your body needs. And then snacking after exercise with a mixture of carbohydrate and protein is going to be important as well to help build those muscles back up. And then when you're on the go, this is a big one, because we live in a world where most of us are constantly on the go. And so being intentional about packing snacks so you have them available to eat when you need them. Question for you. What is the number one reason for why a snack is selected? Put it in the chat. Come off mute. Show some engagement here, because this really goes into ease. Well, that was the first one. Okay, convenience. You're right. You're right. Convenience is the number one reason why a snack is chosen. So if you're intentional and can pack snacks ahead of time that you can easily grab, for example, my kids have been at camp all summer, and they are hot, and they are tired, and they are cranky, and they are hungry when I pick them up at the end of the day. And to help us with the transition from camp to going home to making dinner, I always have a snack in the car for them. We have some really good things coming in the chat too. Those are all great reasons for choosing a snack, but certainly convenience is going to be the top item, because sometimes even if you don't like how something tastes, you're just going to eat it because it's there. But my favorite car snacks that I pack are things like bags of popcorn, fruit leathers. My children will eat jerky sticks, so that's a good protein, a quick, easy, car stable protein source. I will do like pretzels and stuff sometimes. That's not my favorite, but I always, fruit in a pouch is awesome. That's a great one. So having those things available in the car, so to help stave off some of that crankiness and the hangries, is really important for us having a more successful eating, or more successful evening, I should say. And intentional snacks also help us toward our health goals. So if we know that we're really trying to increase protein, having those protein-rich snacks at the ready can be helpful. Moving on. If you're consistently hungry, it's going to be really important to look at the quality of your meals. Are you having protein and fat and carbohydrates at each meal? If you're having really carbohydrate rich meals without a lot of protein or fat, that could be digested very quickly and make you hungry much more quickly as well. So making sure you're pairing your meals with perhaps some meat products or some plant-based protein foods is going to be really important. And when we have snacks, we want to make sure we have at least two of those macronutrients. So protein, fat, or carbohydrate. And if you are able, trying to choose more unprocessed foods, so fruit and veggies, maybe some whole grain crackers, cheese, milk, something that is as least processed as possible for snacks is a great idea. But I know that's not always feasible, especially, my car snacks. They can't be, fresh bananas all the time. That's going to make, stinky car and not great for anybody. So it's going to be important to just be mindful of what type of snacks you're packing in there. And also be aware of health halos. Health halos is a kind of a fun term where it's something appears healthy when really it's just got some buzzwords associated with it. Natural can be a health halo. Yes, maybe you do have something natural, but is it an innately nutritious food or organic? Organic definitely gets a health halo because there are great things. There's organic produce and all sorts of things, but there's also organic cookies. And so what's going to be better, a less processed food that maybe isn't organic or an organic cookie? Certainly, you're just going to want to get the less processed food. So some smart snacking tips as we're moving forward, trying to choose whole grain things when you're able. About half your grain should be whole grains. So some of my favorite things for snacks with whole grains are going to be things like wheat thins or Triscuits and making cheese and crackers out of those. That's going to add a little boost of fiber, keep you fuller a little bit longer, and certainly popcorn. I think we have like 3 different types of popcorn in my house right now. And these are going to be things like a skinny pop, maybe I know we get some, not necessarily the Orville Redenbacher movie theater butter popcorn. That's a delight too, but maybe not our most nutritious choice. We also could try some breakfast foods. Those are great things to help improve nutrition and also good snacks. So I love hard-boiled eggs as a snack, but also you could do some toast. You could do Greek yogurt with nuts, seeds, fruit, all the great things. And then another really good option is a high-low. I like how the phrase of this, a high-low combination where you're taking kind of a high-fat food like a peanut butter or a nut butter, which also has a lot of nutritious components as well, and pairing it with something like apple, banana, celery that's pretty low in calories, but also has its own great nutritional components. Nuts are a fantastic snack as well. These are another really good car snack because they are pretty shelf stable. Want to make sure we're using the right serving size because they are calorie dense, but they also have fiber and protein and fat, and those things are really important for staying full. So that's a good snack to help keep you, hold you over until your next meal. And then again, I've talked about this, but getting more than one macronutrient at each snack occasion. So nuts with grapes. So you have some fat. That one actually has 3: fat, protein, and you get the carbohydrates from the grapes. String cheese, different things to fit in. Oh, I love that. Kathy says once in a while, like 2 scrambled eggs with shredded cheese later in the evening. That's a fantastic snack to add into your day. I feel like eggs are just a great way to get some protein in, as well as they're relatively inexpensive. And so yeah, go to breakfast. Fantastic, guys. I love that you're all that you are participating today. But another thing that's going to be important is pre-portioning your snacks as well. So you're not maybe eating out of the giant thing of peanuts and maybe doing a smaller amount just so you're able to be, if you are maybe not thinking about it and not being as mindful as you would like because you're driving somewhere and taking kids to soccer practice and doing this, that, and the other, at least it's pre-portioned for you and you can take the thought out of it. So certainly snack mindfully. if you are able, because that helps to register this as an eating occasion, which again helps with satiety and helps you feel more satisfied. And then think ahead and carry those snacks with you, so you know you won't be overly hungry, and pre-portion them if you are able as well. So just some different smart snack swaps. That's a mouthful, but maybe you love potato chips. Maybe try something else kind of crispy and salty, like roasted chickpeas. If you're a big fan of those square cheese crackers, maybe just a cheese and crackers, or excuse me, cheese cubes with apple slices. If you like to grab a thing of yogurt, this may be going wild, but try some plain yogurt with some honey and some granola or some nuts or some berries on it. If you have a terrible sweet tooth and you like to go and get a candy bar, something like that, I like to recommend what I call the sweet tooth trifecta, and that is where I tell my clients to pre-portion, because that's important too, because portion size makes a difference. Pre-portion some nuts, some dried fruit. I love dried cherries, so that's what I generally use, and a few dark chocolate chips. No more than maybe a quarter to a third a cup of all three of those mixed together, and put them into little baggies and have them available for you. And it really, really can help satisfy that sweet tooth. So I'd be curious if anyone gives that a try, and I'd love to hear if that helps them with their sweet tooth going forward. And then again, if you're maybe you're an ice cream person at the end of the day, watching TV, try maybe a fruit popsicle, like a pineapple bar or strawberry bar, and that might be a better choice than diving into the pint of ice cream. There is a great Outshine is really good. Yes, it is. There's a great handout in the modules that has some more snack ideas in there, so you can check that out if you are still wanting some ideas. But those are there for and available for you. But let's move on to healthy hydration with the time we have left, because hydration is very, very important, and it is very dependent on a lot of things. Not everybody's hydration status or hydration needs are going to be the same. It is going to vary significantly by age, especially as we age. Our sense of thirst actually becomes decreased, and so we might not know that we are dehydrated because we're not thirsty. And in the past, we might have used that as a sign that we needed to drink something. So that's certainly a big piece of it. Activity level, of course, amount of that you're sweating, whether it's hot, humid, kind of very, very much like it's been around here. The climate can make a big difference in you needing more liquids. And the cold can also bring down your thirst cues as well. And then, of course, health status. So if you are ill, maybe you have fever or vomiting, diarrhea, all of those things are going to make a difference in the amount of liquids that you need. And hydration is so very important because it supports our blood volume, which we need to carry all the nutrients and oxygen around our body. We need it for digestion, we need it for kidney function, and also to regulate our temperature. So that's many of the reasons why it's so important. And when water intake is really low, it actually stresses out our body and can interfere with our appetite. So often we think we are hungry when actually it's our thirst cues that are trying to like break through, and we misunderstand that as hunger and we eat instead. Another important piece about thirst is research shows that hydration may support weight management for lots of different reasons. So if you're somebody who's out there who's working with weight loss and trying to lose weight, being well hydrated and drinking water can really help that situation, because it can bring on behavioral awareness. So it can help improve attention and planning and self-monitoring. It can also help with hunger management because it really takes up space in your stomach. So we might not know that we might not need to eat as much food because that space is displaced by water, but also mild dehydration can really amplify our hunger cues. And so then we might eat more than we may not need when really we just needed something to drink. And again, the calorie displacement as well. So maybe especially if we choose a low calorie drink and it displaces some sugary sweetened beverages, that can be a big way that we can decrease calories in our diet. So you might be asking, well, how much fluid do I need? Well, that's a great question, world. Fluid is going to be very important, and there's lots of different ones that we can take in that are nutritious, great for our bodies, and that includes water, of course. That's always going to be the gold standard. If you're not a person that likes water, like me, you can certainly zhuzh it up with some lemon or other types of fruits or herbs that can be helpful. I love a carbonated water that is not sweetened. Unsweetened coffee and tea counts as well. So lots of ways to get our liquids in. But the general recommendations is about 64 ounces of water a day, which really goes hand in hand with that eight cups a day uh, adage that you've probably heard since you were a child. Another way you can think about it is if you a 1 cup of fluid for every 250 calories that you eat, again, that kind of equates to 8 cups a day. Or another type of rule that you might have heard is about half your body weight in ounces. So if you are a 140-pound person, that would be about 70 ounces of fluid needed. But it really does vary based on those items I mentioned earlier about age and climate and activity level. One thing that's going to be really important when it comes to our beverages is looking at sugar sweetened beverages, because this is the #1 source of added sugar in people's diets, particularly American diets. And that added sugar can contribute or can be account for weight gain and obesity. It can contribute to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, tooth decay. So a lot of reasons to try to wean yourself off those sugar sweetened beverages. But you might ask yourself, well, what counts as a sugar sweetened beverage? As I went too far in my slides. Probably things you already know about: soft drinks, fruit punches, fruit drinks, sweetened teas, energy drinks, sports drinks if they're not implicated for, that's needing it because of the loss of sweat and electrolytes, chocolate milk, flavored waters. I know all the delightfully delicious Starbucks drinks, but those sweetened coffees and our sweetened powdered drinks like Kool-Aid or Tang, all of those are going to add a significant amount of calories to our diet without adding any major nutritional benefits. So if you are a person that loves to drink 4 Cokes a day, all right, that's where you are. That's your baseline right now. That's probably what your body is used to. But if you're really working to become a little healthier, you're on your wellness journey, maybe starting next week, you go down to 3 Cokes a day. And then the following week, 2 Cokes a day. And just trying to wean yourself off and displacing that liquid with another type of liquid like water or any other type of unsweetened fluid is going to be really important for overall health. Then finally, you might have heard of the buzz about electrolytes, buzz, because they carry an electric charge. So these are minerals that we take in. They're dissolved in fluids like blood and sweat and urine. And you can see the main electrolytes include things like sodium and potassium, calcium. You can see the list here. And they're very necessary for good health because we need them for hydration. We need them for nerve function and the sending of messages. We need them for muscle function, contraction, and relaxation, for keeping our pH where it needs to be, as well as for our heart health. If you are someone who is working in hot climates, you're sweating profusely, you've worked out hard, having an electrolyte replacement drink like a Gatorade or a Powerade, or using one of those stick packs like a Liquid IV or a True Labs or any of those may be helpful for helping to retain that those electrolytes in the body and can help you feel better, especially if you're feeling very dehydrated or if you've been ill with vomiting or diarrhea. Those things are beneficial. However, if you are eating a healthy diet, if you are drinking plenty of fluids, they're often not needed. So just keep that in mind as you're moving forward. And then finally, some healthy hydration habits. Drink water before meals, just so you know you get it in because you probably will be eating. Choose low or no calorie beverages most of the time. Monitor your body, these real world cues. So maybe checking the color of your urine, using frequency, how often you're drinking, whether you're thirsty as cues as well. But also maybe if those things, just aren't registering, have a water bottle that has the time of day on it and try to reach those goals throughout the day, or set an alarm on your phone so when you get that alarm you automatically take a drink of water, or have a cup that you always have sitting out and every time you walk past you take a sip. And then being aware of how much you're sweating, how hot it is, other types of factors like that, as well as your fiber intake. Hopefully, after some of these classes, you have increased your fiber intake. And doing so, you will also need to increase your water intake just so to reduce the risk of becoming constipated. So on that great note, as we are closing out today's class, because we are at 12:30, I wanted to just open it up for questions, discussion. You're welcome to put it in the chat as well. If you haven't already, please make sure you have put your name in the chat so you get credit. Whoa, look at that, guys. Good job. So we get credit for the class. And I did mention at the beginning of the class when we got started is that each region sends out their produce incentives a little bit differently. So I have heard from Alpena, and if you live in the Alpena area, the unique offer codes have been sent out via email. The farmers market vouchers have been sent out, and the Meijer produce vouchers will be sent out shortly. But make sure you're checking the mail for those things. Once I get more information from the other regions, I will send it out to the larger group. And I did ask who the like if you get something in the mail, who will it be from? What should they be looking for? And I've had some questions in the chat as well. When snacking on hard-boiled eggs, should we eat the yolk? And generally, I say I would eat 1 to 2 yolks a day. Especially if you're choosing some of the eggs that have the vitamin D enriched yolks. But if you are having more eggs than that a day, I would stick to just the whites because of the saturated fat cholesterol level in egg yolks, though it's not nearly as bad as research is showing. It's not nearly as bad as it's been portrayed in the past. Some other questions include we had Brenda asking about Mount Pleasant. I have not heard yet. I'm sorry, Brenda, about Mount Pleasant yet. And then Jody put in the chat here, talking about our free mini sessions we have this month. We have from Dr. Shar, who is a great partner of ours. They're offering free mini sessions with myself, Jody, or Kelly. And so you can sign up for one of those to get some more personalized nutrition guidance based on your own health journey and goals. And so we've had several of you sign up for those already, which has been wonderful to get to know each of you a little bit better. And those are completely free to you. They're HIPAA compliant, so none of your health information will be shared with anybody. And you will also get a free, a $4 off Shar coupon for some of their bread products. So something to think about if you do want to sign up. The link is right there and available for you. Does anybody, our time goes so fast, does anybody have any questions I can help to answer, or any comments on how we can make this more engaging? Can I watch the class again today? You can watch it again today. Let's make a note of that, Brenda, that we need to send to Brenda. If you are not going to be on a class, you're not able to come for whatever reason, that is a-okay. Life happens, things come up. We will send out the recording to you, and you just need to make sure you watch the recording and then look at the modules within the the Nutrition by Meijer app, so you can see the materials that are associated that week. But great questions out there. Is there any other questions I can answer for the group? And Brenda will send that via email for you. Great question, Dawn. Okay. There is a handout, and I should have said this during the call today. There is a handout available within the modules that show you how to use the codes. However, since you're here and an active participant, I can show you using my phone. So you have those 12 character codes. You do need a Meijer account, which is very easy to set up. And then Let me pull this off so you can see it a little bit easier. So I pulled up my Meyer app. At the bottom here, it says coupons. I'm going to hit that. And of course, it's not working. So give it a moment to think about it. And within the coupons section, there's going to be a search bar. There it is. Right here, I don't know if you can read what it says, but it says search or enter offer code. So you will put that 12-character offer code right in there, and then it will come up and populate a coupon that looks similar to this below it. And then you will just need to hit the clip button and it will clip that coupon for you and it will be available for your use when you either shop electronically or shop in store. Does that help? It's invalid. All right, Don, let's meet. Oh, we cannot see what you're trying to share. Well, let me. Probably not because I was sharing my screen and not my phone. Dawn, let me just double check here. There are two Dawns in the class. Which Dawn is this? Dawn Hubbard. All right. I will connect with you after, just offline, and we can figure out the invalid question. And then Patricia, I will show again. If you open up the Meyer app and then hit coupons at the bottom here, and then there's a line here that says search or enter offer code. It's hard to see just because it's online, but you put in the 12-character offer code there, and then it should populate a coupon below. And so, for example, this one's for a produce purchase of $25. This is for another project, but then you would clip that coupon, and you should be able to use it from there. Able to enter the first code and then receive the message invalid for the others. All right. Let me check on this. Callie and Dawn Hubbard. Anybody else? Thank you, Dawn. Let me just make a note of this. And Callie. And we can connect. Brenda, yes, me too. Brenda, this happened to you about the invalid codes, Brenda? Anybody else on the line that this happened to? I can see where you're showing, but there's no codes in the offer code. You need to, Patricia, you need to enter the offer code that was sent to you or will be sent to you. So there wouldn't be a code in there if you just opened it up. It would be entered. You would need to manually enter it when you receive it. Okay, fantastic. But if other issues like this comes up, because I work with the team, it will not come from Meyer, Anita. It will come from your local My Michigan person, depending on what region you're in. But if anything else comes up related to invalid codes, shoot me an email and I will try to figure out what is going on. But right now I have Dawn Hubbard having that problem, Callie Frey, and Brenda Wanzi. Anybody else? All right. Does anyone have any additional questions that I may be able to help with? And again, if you haven't received unique offer codes and are still will receive them, there is a handout within the modules that does explain how to use them. All right, I'm not seeing any additional questions in the chat and also not hearing anybody coming off mute, so we can end for today. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day, and we will reconvene here next Wednesday. Thanks so much. Have a great week.